Hi, welcome to the Wellness Journey Summit, Secrets to Jumpstart Your Health. This is Dr. JJ Purcell, and she is a naturopathic doctor who specializes in plant medicine. Thank you for being here, Dr. JJ.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure.
I'm so excited to have a chat with you. Now, the two most common complaints that I've been hearing lately are about sleep and anxiety. Can you give us a little insight on what would be the best ways to use things like herbal medicines or natural medicines?
Yeah, of course. It's been a rough couple of years, on many fronts, whether that is, work front or emotional front. We've all been dealing with quite a bit of challenges over the last couple of years. And when we tend to have to deal with new challenges, one of the biggest things that I see it affecting with my patients is sleep. People start to not fall asleep as easy as they used to, or they tend to start waking up, 3 or 4 hours after they fall asleep, or they just wake up at that dreaded 4 o'clock in the morning time and can't get back to sleep. No matter what, if you're not getting that regular sleep pattern, we're going to start to see some other areas of your health maybe not optimally functioning as well as they should. And so sleep is really, really important. Sleep is the time when we detoxify our body. So all day long, we work, we use our brains, use our bodies to do the things that we need to do in life. And we also take in food and we breathe in the air and take in different things that we drink. And our body has to process all this. And not all of it is things that our body needs. So at night, when we go to sleep, that's actually the cleaning time of our body. It's when our liver turns on, cleans out all the blood, moves out all the toxins, breaks down hormones that we don't need, helps build other hormones that we do need. And so when we don't have that consistent sleep for enough period of time overnight, we're not allowing that detoxification process to happen, right? So some of the things that I look at when we're talking about sleep is I want to address the cause. It's fine to put a Band-Aid on it, and sometimes we need to. Sometimes you just need a quick herb like hops tincture is a great one that I'll give people right off the bat just to get some sleep. Hops is a sedative herb. It's what we grow. We put it in beer and other libations, but it is a wonderful sedative and really great at calming the nerve system and calming the muscular system, and allows that kind of falling asleep and staying asleep pattern. So sometimes that's where we'll start if someone's not getting a good night's sleep, just to start off, right? Because if you haven't been getting sleep for a while, I don't know if you've ever not gotten some good sleep.
That's happened a lot.
Yeah, you know what it feels like, right?
Yeah.
You wake up and you're just like, shoot, I have a whole day.
Yes.
And I'm exhausted.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep. So sometimes you just need that, like, give me a good night's sleep tonight and we'll deal with the cause tomorrow, right?
Right.
But then we need to start diving in. What's causing this? Like, what's happening? Why aren't you getting a good night's sleep? And so I start kind of going around the wheel of the possible causes of why you aren't. And those include, first and foremost, blood sugar, right? When we don't have a balanced blood sugar, what ends up happening is our blood sugar drops about 4 to 5 hours after we go to sleep. When our blood sugar drops really significantly like that, it wakes the body up because it's kind of like an alarm, like, whoa, our blood sugar is way too low. Unfortunately, this can happen when we drink wine or other types of alcohol that do have sugars, because the sugar spikes us up really high. And then again, after that 3 to 5 hour mark, it drops really low.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you. I have the biggest sugar sweet tooth in the world. So I love to have like a chocolate chip cookie or something at night, with my tea as I'm kind of winding down. It's not the best move at all. I know it's going to drive that blood sugar up, but I need to just be aware that when I'm doing that, I might not have as good a sleep as I should.
Right.
So blood sugar is an easy one. Make sure you're eating every day, right? Keep that blood sugar nice and stable. Try not to do anything sugary at night. That's going to spike it. That's going to cause it to drop. Another big one that we talk about is hormones. Hormones, 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 right? I mean, particularly for women.
Exactly.
It's like, I don't think a woman can go through her life anymore without having some conversation pretty regularly about hormones.
Right? They can mess up so many things.
Oh my gosh, it just wreaks havoc, doesn't it?
It does.
You know, and then we've got all of these environmental things now affecting it, and foods that are affecting it, and it's a lot. And for women in particular, we have a lot of really important hormones that can affect us in a multitude of ways. Such a joy. So when we're talking about if hormones are playing a part in our lack of sleep, then we start diving into herbs that kind of focus in on more of the hypothalamus and the endocrine system. And we also think about the adrenal glands.
Yeah.
So the hypothalamus is going to be that estrogen, progesterone, what's going on there if it's a female patient or even a male patient sometimes. What's going on there? And do we need to do some slight correction? If we do, I always reach for chasteberry tree. Chasteberry is this wonderful berry. It's also known as vitex. And it works particularly through the hypothalamus to get that estrogen balance in line with progesterone. And so that can make a significant difference with people very readily. It's a really wonderful herb, wonderful herb.
Awesome.
If we're thinking about excess hormones in the blood, you know, which often happens, then we need to think about, well, why isn't that getting broken down? You know, and usually that has to do something to do with the liver. Liver is what breaks those things down. So then we start reaching for the herbs like burdock and dandelion root and chicory root, and blue plurum is a wonderful Chinese liver herb. So we start thinking about that, and we start thinking about how can we cleanse out the blood, cleanse out the liver of these excess, typically estrogens that are floating around. And a great way to do that through food is eat ground flax seeds. Ground flax seeds actually bind excess estrogen and just move it right out naturally.
Wow.
So that's a good way.
Great idea.
And then, you know, this is so rare that women are stressed. So I hesitate to even talk about it because, you know, stress and women just never, ever, you know, go hand in hand. But unfortunately, in this modern day, women just take on so much. And the little adrenal glands, 2 little glands that sit right below our kidneys, they're about the size of an almond, and they secrete what's called cortisol. And cortisol is the go, go, go hormone, right?
Yep.
It's the one that says, get this done. Where's my to-do list? I got to take care of that. Oh, I forgot about that. I got to run and go do it. And so we're constantly kind of secreting cortisol to keep us going, keep us going. And what ends up happening over time is our natural cortisol levels start to fall. And so at some point it's like, I can't keep secreting this cortisol as much as you want me to. So I'm going to pick and choose. I'm going to give you a little now, but I'm not going to give it to you this time. I'll give it to you a little now, but I'm not going to give it to you this time. And then you keep emptying that tank further and further. And what ends up happening is you get to such a critical low level that it just says, nope, I'm not giving you any more. Then we get really tired. And we feel like if we run a couple errands, we feel like we've ran a marathon. Or if we have like a big holiday and, you know, we're getting the presents and doing the food and organizing the social events and cleaning the house, or, you know, and then work on top of that. After that, you're just exhausted. It's because your cortisol levels have been pushed to the max.
Wow.
And so we really have to support the adrenal glands. And we do that with our adaptogen herbs. Oh. Adaptogen herbs are these wonderful group of herbs that basically raise things that are low and lower things that are high. Right? They're just these magical little herbs that go in and they're like, that's too high, bring it down, or that's too low, let's bump it up and support them. And so these are your Schizandra berry and your rhodiola and uh, just gosh, I'm drawing ashwagandha is another
Oh,
wonderful one. And so we use these herbs just to nourish our adrenal glands and our endocrine system as a whole.
awesome.
So the only other one that that I often dive into, of course, we have to think about the environment. What are you being exposed to that's potentially causing disruption in your sleep? That's really important. What kind of mattress are you laying on? Is it off-gassing?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get a new pillow that maybe has some flame retardant on it that your body's not responding to very well?
Yes.
Did you just do a remodel and you've got a bunch of off-gassing coming from your new kitchen? I always ask these kinds of questions. And here we ask a lot about mold because
Because
we're
it
in the
rains
Pacific
on.
Northwest. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the last big one that I was going to talk about was digestion.
Yes.
How's your digestion? Is it working? Do you have, gas, bloating, irregular bowel movements? Are you having any cramping, pain? These kinds of things. These are all signs the body's trying to tell you something's not working right in the digestive process. And again, if you have slower digestion going on because something's not quite running on the level that it should, then you're getting this higher level of detoxification because it's backing up. You're getting a higher level of inflammation, going on. And so we would again turn back to the liver, support the liver, and support the gastrointestinal system with licorice and marshmallow and fennel and all of these wonderful herbs that just make sure that every little step of the way of digestion is being effective so that it can just run like a well-oiled machine and you don't have to think about it too much.
Nice. Wow. Those are awesome. So do you use those? Do you just make tea from those or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do all sorts of things. So this is the great thing about herbal medicine in my mind. One of the great things. First of all, yes, there are times when a tea might work better than a capsule, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Or a tincture, which is a liquid drop form of the herbal medicine. A tincture, let me just explain that quickly for people who don't know what that is. You'll see them in the store. They're little dropper bottles with the little dropper. And what that is it's usually alcohol that is used to extract the plant material from the solid plant form into a liquid form.
Okay.
And the reason we use alcohol is because it is one of the only solvents, that's a fancy science word, that basically means liquid. It's one of the only liquids that can break down the plant cell walls, which are really hard and strong, and pull out all the medicine from the inside of the plant and put it into a liquid form and keep it stable. Okay?
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then alcohol also is, it diffuses. It's what we call sublingual. So if you actually take it, it will never go through the digestive system because it infuses directly through the tissues right at the surface of the mouth. So
Wow.
right under the mouth here. You might swallow it, it might get a little ways, but it's going right in the tissue. So if you need to bypass the digestive system because your digestive system isn't working well, let's say you've got IBS or Crohn's or, GERD or anything like that. Sometimes you want to just bypass that whole digestive system because it's not going to work really well.
True.
So you take a tincture, then it goes right into the bloodstream and it can start working for you. Okay.
Wow. That's
Sometimes if you have like a bladder infection or if you have incontinence of the bladder, you want to bring those herbs all the way through to the bladder, right? And a tea is a great choice then.
Oh, okay.
Because you're filtering it through. Yeah.
Okay.
So then it actually has contact with the surfaces of the bladder.
Right.
It's going to run through there eventually.
Yeah, that's wow. Great.
What's that?
I said, this is great information.
Oh, good. We have these things and I just get on and I just ramble away and
I could talk to you all day.
Yeah, I could talk all day. So we're a good team. But back to the sleep, I know that so I live on 6 acres. We have coyotes. I also have dogs that guard my livestock all night, right?
Right.
Sometimes they're barking. So sometimes they'll run right by my bedroom window at like 2 or 3 in the morning, barking, and it'll wake me up. And I have a pretty good time, easy time going back to sleep. But sometimes I don't even want to like think about it being a problem or issue. So I'll reach right over and I'll grab my hops tincture and I'll take it, and it'll allow me to go back to sleep. And what I'm talking about there is, if you want something to work really, really fast, a tincture is the way to go. Because like I said, if it's got like a pill or tea, it's going to go through the whole digestive system. That's going to take 20, 30 minutes before it works.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, that is excellent. I love this. So I also wanted to ask you, so like it kind of gets a little confusing sometimes about like what you're saying, tinctures or capsules, or so what would be the best herb to take?
Oh, well, there's never a best herb, that's for sure. But as far as which way to take it, is it the best? I'll touch that first, and then we'll talk about the herb piece. The best way to take an herb is how you're going to take it.
Okay.
So,
it is.
Yeah, some people love to make tea. I'm one of those people. I love to make tea. I'll get the jar and the herbs, and I like to pour the water and watch it float around. Some people are just like, are you crazy? Like, I don't have time for that. Just give me the pill.
Right.
And I will take it. Some people are traveling, so you can't make tea. Some people cannot tolerate alcohol, so tinctures are not even an option. So really it's about what will you do and what can you commit to? And that's a great thing about having so many different ways to do herbs, because you can find the one that works for you, and you'll have the best, compliancy with taking it.
That's good.
So as far as, the best herbs to take, there's so many, and you'll find your favorites when you start, kind of playing around with herbs, which of course I encourage everyone to do. Go to the grocery store, go to the tea aisle. If you're new to this, go to the tea aisle and just start looking. It's really fun to just kind of start looking at the boxes and being like, oh, what does this do? And what does that do? And there's a brand called Traditional Medicinals. It's probably in every grocery store across the country. But they also sell tea bags with just some single herbs like nettles or licorice or mint or chamomile. And that's kind of fun, like just to take one herb at a time and try it and taste it, see how it makes you feel, start learning about it. And you'll start to learn really quickly, I like this herb and I like how it makes me feel. And you'll learn really quickly, this is not an herb for me. I don't resonate with this herb. That happens too. And then you'll just start to kind of build those tea boxes up. Maybe you have a special tea drawer, and in the winter, you love to do your slippery elm and licorice, because it helps the immune system and the gut, keeps your throat nice and moist. So reduces any kind of sore throat going on. Maybe in the spring, you love to have your nettle tea with a little honey because of all the allergies, that are going around, and everything's blooming and it's gorgeous, but some people are miserable during that time.
That is so true.
Yeah. And then other people love cooling herb like mint tea. Make big jars of mint tea in the sun over the summer and drink that to stay cool. So building up what you love is, I think one of the best parts of the herbal journey.
Awesome. Yeah, and I do have a big cabinet of all kinds of teas because
And what are your favorites?
One of my favorite ones has licorice in it. And it just tastes so soothing to me. So I love it.
So we would call that a plant ally. When you find an herb that you're just like, it's so soothing, I love it so much. that plant is your ally. It's there for you when you need it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Now, so any suggestions on how to stay healthy and well during the holiday season?
Yeah, that's we tend to rev up, don't we?
Right?
And again, that long to-do list of things to do and what we're supposed to do. And, the first thing I say is take about 3 things off your list. So look at your list of the things that you do every year. If you're like, oh, okay, here comes the big push, for my holiday season. Like this year, I was like, we're not doing Christmas cards. And a little part inside of me died. I was like, oh, but I was like, you know what? We're not going to do it. We're just taking that right off the list because it's it's not a ton of time, but it's a chunk of time.
It is.
It causes me a little stress to get it out there in time and, pick the picture, blah, 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 and so I was just look at your list, maybe give yourself a little break, cross a thing or two right off that list. Sleep is going to be important. Getting good night's sleep. So another scientific article just came out last week that said, and I've already known this from my naturopathic training and my acupuncture Chinese medicine training, if you don't go to sleep before midnight, every hour of sleep before midnight is like 2 compared to every hour after.
Wow.
Right? And this article that came out last week scientifically proved that if you go to the most optimal time to go to sleep is between 10 and 11. Okay. And that's from a detoxification standpoint. It's from optimizing your hormones and optimizing your rest. So go to bed between 10 and 11. And I would say more closer to 10 than 11. Right. Get that sleep. That's super, super important. This is also winter. We're moving out of fall and into winter. This is when we're naturally, as a humankind, supposed to kind of hibernate and be quiet and contain our energy and rest. So take advantage of that time.
Yeah, be a bear, right?
Yeah, be a bear. I'm all about it. I always buy one new blanket every fall, for our winter, like a really soft, cozy. I found one this year at Costco. It's one of the Pendleton blankets, but it's super fuzzy. It's not one of their wool blankets. And it's just like, I've been fighting the kids to stay off of it because this one's mine. And then, as far as herb, wake up every day. And if you're a coffee drinker, why not add a little powdered mushroom to your coffee? You won't taste it at all, but you can add some reishi or some cordyceps or some lion's mane, just a little bit. So like I have a French press. Yeah. And I make 2 cups every morning. And so I typically put 2 teaspoons of ground medicinal mushrooms in there. So the reishi is for the immune system, the lion's mane is for the stress response, and the cordyceps is also for the immune system. Keeps us nice and healthy as we move into the winter. When stress goes up, our immune systems go down. So we want to make sure to keep our immune systems really nice and strong. End every night with a nice cup of tea. Right. Figure out what that works for you. I mean, lavender chamomile, it's total old school and it's about as basic as you can get, but I love it. I love it. And it works really well to help soothe me off into sleep.
Right. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad you found your favorite too. Yeah. I do have another question if we have time. Sure. I love essential oils and I'm always curious how other people use them. So how do you incorporate them into your life and what are some of your favorites? Sure.
Well, we have a diffuser in the house going pretty much 24/7, we don't have too many people coming in and out of the house, but sometimes I do. But just for us and our own well-being, depends on the time of the day. And during the day, I have more of an air breathing defense kind of one. And then I switch over at about 6 o'clock at night to a calming blend.
Yes.
Yes. So we have both of those going. You know, even my kids started using essential oils when they were young, and they now ask for it. So every day before we go to school, we put 3 drops in the palm of our hand. We rub it together. We take 3 big inhalations in, and then they rub it on their neck. And that
Great.
gives them a little barrier of protection as they go off to school and get surrounded by everybody. We use it in the bath a lot. I use it on the feet every time there is a cold. So I'll just rub the warming sock treatment?
I don't know if I've heard that one, but
So it's a great one. It's an old naturopathic nature cure treatment. So you take a bath or you do a hot foot bath. You just want to get your feet kind of nice and pink and warm.
okay.
And then I'll put rosemary essential oil on the bottom of the feet. And then you take cotton socks and you get them wet. And that doesn't sound appealing at all, but you bring it out and you put them on.
Yeah.
And then you put wool socks on over that.
Oh,
And then you go to bed.
wow.
Yeah. And now what this does is it stimulates the immune system. First of all, the brain says, oh my gosh, there's cold, wet feet. What is happening? So it starts circulating the blood, and that raises the body temperature. So you're almost like stimulating a mild fever, right? Because you're bringing up the blood circulation. When you raise the body temperature, we can kill bacteria and virus internally. So that's helpful. When you also generate that circulation, you're moving lymph around, which helps fight the cold. The rosemary then is absorbed through the feet. It's also working to fight that cold. And then it also drains all mucus and phlegm from the sinuses and nose.
Wow.
Yeah. Wonderful treatment.
I did not know, but I love rosemary. But
Yes.
yeah, that is great suggestion. So you could do that all the time, every night.
All the time. You could.
Yeah. Awesome.
Typically we do it when you have a cold or flu,
right.
But like I know my mom does, she's 83 and her circulation isn't, what it used to be. And so she's feeling particularly chilled or something. Right. She'll go ahead and do that just to kind of get her circulation moving a little bit.
I need to tell my daughter about that because she's doesn't have good circulation in her feet. She's only 30 something. So,
oh yeah. She should give that a try.
Yeah. So I'm going to definitely tell her about that. Yeah.
Great.
Well, I appreciate this. I thank you for being here on the Wellness Journey Summit. And we loved having you, and you had great information. So I just wanted to thank you again. And I really appreciate you being here.
You bet. Best to everyone. Feel free to reach out to me if you ever have any questions about anyone, as anyone can. You can find me online, but I'm happy to answer questions if they come up. I know health can be scary and not everyone loves to run to the doctor. So please consider me as a resource should you have a question or a concern. Don't ever think that you're alone. I'm here to help.
I really appreciate that. Everybody will love that fact. Well, I thank you very much again, and I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You too.